Holy improvement. If you haven't seen last part, my girlfriend Rosie and I have been trying to complete the Halo Reach campaign, her first ever console first-person shooter, well, her first ever first-person shooter to begin with. This time we are tackling the 3-episode mission arc, whatever you want to call it, of Long Night of Solace, Exodus, and New Alexandria, and this was the best I've ever seen her at Halo. And maybe that's because we opened up Long Night of Solace playing a completely different game. She did not really have a huge problem on the beach, and, you know, overall it was really just punching simulator as it's always been for these last couple of missions. But once we got into space, she actually kind of knew what to do. It was surprising, you know. She was able to figure out how to use the missiles and the guns to take out the Seraphs and the Banshees. You know, she got the movement pretty well. Overall, I was extremely surprised. I did have to take out the Phantoms, and she really did kind of excel in the zero gravity areas, even though she was dying, blowing up a couple of times. Just a couple. She was floating in space this one time that I thought was just really funny on rewatch. Once we really got into the Corvette, she was moving quite well. When we saw the destruction of the UNSC Savannah, her immediate reaction of a complete ship destroying was, oh, and then turning and continuing on. I thought that was really funny, and we just kept moving, man. Like she understood her role. Her role was to run at the enemies, punch them. If they didn't die, they would kill her. She would respawn on me, run off, and well, basically repeat and recycle the entire thing again. And by doing that, we killed the elite general on the bridge and set the Corvette on a collision course for the supercarrier. And although we got back, she really did struggle with the Ultras here, which makes sense. It's 3 of the toughest enemies in the game. And overall, she was really excelling in this area, even though she died a few times, mainly still by the elites, as she still can't figure out the AI around them and their melee as she's trying to melee them. In the final cutscene, she had no clue at all who George was, why he was doing what he was doing, and why he threw you off the ship. I had to explain it to her, and once the bomb went off, she went, "Oh, it's like Thanos." She completely thought Noble 6 died, which is honestly pretty fair, falling from space. I told her 6 had a re-entry kit. She didn't exactly believe me. He kind of did, kind of doesn't. Who knows? We ended up at New Alexandria. I tried to put it in scope for her. I said it was the New York City of Reach. She didn't really get that because she didn't really care about AI violence. She walked past the dead people in the boardwalk and just kept moving. She almost blew up to suicide grunts just because of her tendencies to go in and punch. And I told her she has to keep her distance. And this is when she actually started using her gun, which was surprising. You know, the suicide grunts in the tunnels are not a huge concern. You take out one of them, you take out 9 of them. I did show her what a health pack was. She picked that up and basically immediately wasted a lot of it trying to pick up the assault rifle because she didn't know that you just have to hold X, not press X, even though I've told her that multiple times at this point. She had a lot more success with the brutes compared to the elites, and that makes sense. The brutes AI is so much more different, and they don't have any shields, so all Rosie has to do is punch it at least once or twice and they're dead. They're not gonna flip kick her or whatever. And she had a lot more fun playing Exodus compared to the missions of the past. And we did cruise through the elevator. I gave her a gravity hammer, which she had an excellent time doing, but before that we had to run and get the jetpacks. Now, Rosie used the jetpack a whole total of 1 time, the previous mission Tip the Spear, and using it now, she actually did understand what the logic was after I had to walk it through her a few times. And overall, she had a really great time fighting through the Traxxas Tower. Her gravity hammer was perfect, she had great kills on a ton of different brutes along the way, and we did clear the entire area, even though she did die by the brute chieftain once. She only once, I'm not doing that bit again, she only died once now, and we were on to the beachhead. Oh my god, the beachhead. Rosey does like driving, but sometimes I think I overstimulate her by the things that I'm telling her to do. We flipped, and a Wraith shot our Warthog, and then the other Wraith shot our Warthog, and then I died, but I respawned as she was driving away, and I was chasing her this entire time, saying, stop the car, stop the car. I finally get into the car, we run into the trees, and she doesn't know what to do, and then we blow up. and then we just blow up shooting the Wraith. Like, oh my god. Well, we had to respawn and do it again. Rosey really tried to ram herself into the columns to try to get up the thing, and eventually that did work. Eventually, she did run headfirst into the other brute chieftains, but overall we did clear Exodus pretty much unscathed. Now, New Alexandria was the most anticipated mission because of the Falcon. I told her it was the helicopter mission, and she was really happy trying to figure it out. I played Gunner, while she figured out the entire Falcon controls. And once I walked through how to do it, and the little tutorial kind of helped her throughout the gameplay, she did really good with the movement here, and I don't know if it's just any other thing that's not walking around as a Spartan she's really good at, because we've got 2 instances now. You know, she wasn't like maneuvering the Falcon for me to gun, but she was flying around, she was just having a good time. You know, we walked through all the objectives, we got ambushed by the drones. This sucked. I actually didn't know how many drones there were. I always just run back to the elevator. We tried to stay and fight. She died, I ran away. Rosey spawned outside of the elevator, and then died by basically just it was always strange as she dive bombed into Club Aurora. She got her revenge on the hunters by using the rocket launcher. The hospital was actually one of the better areas I've seen Rosey play. You know, she was basically just moving her way down this circle, and you know, obviously she was just punching, but she didn't die at all. Once she got to the brutes, she basically just went full on straight ahead, not looking at anything else but punching, and she made it all the way down to the last couple of brutes before dying. And that's just wildly impressive that she's actually able to understand that. What she's not able to understand, though, is the radar, which I told her when the jetpack elites showed up to watch your radar, and she went, oh, I've never been looking at that. What? What do you mean? What do you mean you've never been looking at the radar? That's the whole point of it was a whole thing. Like, it was a whole thing, but overall, I was really impressed with her this time around. The last session, she was really struggling with just gameplay, and those were just 2 on-the-ground missions, but I think having the balance of different things actually made her figure out the controls a little bit more. And that's all I can ask from somebody who's playing Halo for the very first time. But we do have 3 missions left, so I hope you'll join me on the next part of playing Halo Reach with my girlfriend Rosey.